Okay, it is now 5:53 a.m. and I am really fucking tired. My room's a mess. I just kind of pulled another all-nighter. Been doing that these last few days. Been kind of dealing with a lot of anxiety and frustration. A friend of mine died earlier in the week. He actually technically died on the 4th of July, but I didn't find out until earlier in the week. Went to a funeral on Tuesday. Just been in a weird kind of shitty headspace. Reached out to some friends though to try and talk to people, and then met some people that are new through one of my friends. Reached out to them, just trying to talk to people and stay fucking busy because I'm just kind of losing my mind. But negative stuff aside, I'm kind of just working through it to try and get this shit done so I can have something to show for it. So I'm now close to like 20 something hours on this letter K. I probably just did another 5 hours on it last night. Supposed to only do like a little bit, but I just ended up working on it because I just couldn't sleep. The lower horn, not lower horn, the lower stretch of the leg is done. It's not conjoined yet, but it's basically done. Um, this little like four-part sequence I don't really like. I'll probably fix this in the next like day or so. I think what I'll do is just kind of like mark it off because I don't really like the way it looks. I think what I'm gonna do is color red and make the fucking. There we go. And I'm just gonna get rid of the. Yeah, there we go. And I'll fix that later on. Um, there are things about this that I like. There are things that I don't like about it. I don't think the cowboy boots would work on this. Because they're always pointing to the right, which would create, I think, too much visual tension here. So now there's like a reverse cowboy boot with like a spur, which you would, kick into the side of a horse to make it, go fast. Giddy up, and you kick the horse with the spur. That's kind of what this lower piece is right here, this shape here. And then this is kind of like a boot sort of here. I guess I could make it look a little bit more like a boot and make it more dramatic or whatever. But yeah, so been working out a lot lately. Been running pretty often. I was supposed to go for a run yesterday, but I was kind of depressed, so I just skipped my run. But last week I ran 22 miles in 3 days, and then I did a 25-mile bike ride. So I did just shy of like 50 miles last week. So I'm exercising pretty often. This week I did two runs. I didn't do the third one. I did two though at least. So I got like 14 something, maybe 15 miles in. I don't know. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. I'm just kind of working through things. Finally got off of academic probation. Had to email people from the department and reach out to them. Got my 3.85 GPA last semester, so I shouldn't be on any kind of probation, but for some reason a hold was placed onto my account. So I had to wait until they pulled the hold, and then I finally was able to register. So now I'm finally registered, which is good news. So I'm back in school, which is good. Uh, Still a ways out from getting my master's, but kind of already down the rabbit hole. So in for a penny, in for a pound. Um, I don't know. I don't really like school. I don't really like any of the people I've met there. I've spent a lot of time thinking about like the women that I met. I was hoping to meet, someone to have a relationship with, but I'm kind of disappointed that that's the case. Um, you know, I don't meet people that I like at school, especially because, you know, it's San Francisco, and I just don't really agree with a lot of the people who are out there. I think that they're very narcissistic and arrogant, and their ideological concern for the environment or social welfare or whatever betrays an overall malignance to their own, personal conduct and behavior. When it comes to abstract principles and morals, they're the first ones to show up and wave the flag. But when it comes to, like, breaking ground, picking a shovel and digging the trench and getting into the trench and marching with everyone else through the trenches, they don't want to march, let alone dig the trench. They don't want to do the labor. So, I don't know. I don't like the people that I'm around. I spend a lot of time feeling kind of depressed. Um, Basically, went to two funerals this week. Found out my friend died, went to an actual funeral. So, like, two deaths this kind of week, and just been in a deeply reflective, contemplative state of mind. Hasn't exactly been the best, hasn't exactly been the worst. Um, but it's just what it is. I don't really have any expectations anymore. By that I mean, like, when it comes to personal relationships or whatever, I have expectations, which is why I'm not in anything, because most of the people I meet aren't capable of doing anything for anyone else. I think when you're in a relationship, you're submitting yourself to the relationship so you can be in service to the relationship, which means both parties have to make an equal degree of submission. And when only one person does that, it's not really a relationship, it's just, socially approved extortion. So, I have high standards to relationships, but I don't expect anything, which is kind of like this weird kind of Taoist philosophy where it's like, well, if you don't expect anything, you can't be disappointed. But if you don't expect anything, life can kind of just unfold before you. So I'm just trying to do my work and let life unfold in front of me. If I meet a woman, I'm going to put demands on the situation, but I'm not going to fucking I'm not going to fucking expect them to follow through. I think the big thing that I'm frustrated with is, for a while this woman was texting me, and she would mention that she had a boyfriend, and I have this rule that you have to be single for at least 30 but preferably 60 days before I date you. And it's this rule that I have because, um, there's this weird there's this weird paradox where if people feel like they can just kind of wear you like a fashion item, then they're not going to respect you. Like, how do I know that this woman is going to respect me if she immediately ditches her current boyfriend for me and I, like, jump on board, and then all of a sudden, some other guy comes around who's better than me? It's like, well, then what happens to me? Well, she ditches me for that other guy. So, first off, I don't want to cuck anyone because that's just shitty. And I believe in the golden rule, do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. And I don't want to cuck anyone because I know that bad energy comes back around and I would probably get cucked. And I don't want to experience that. So I have these rules like, don't date anyone who hasn't been single for at least 30, but preferably 60 days. And it really puts a pause on things, but it kind of forces the other person to submit to your expectations. And when you force a woman to submit to your expectations, you're the one setting the pace. And I really think that's like, I think that's a necessary thing in today's society because women kind of dominate everything now, and they're very disrespectful and arrogant. And that arrogance kind of makes them seem entitled to things that aren't theirs, that they're not really worthy of. And the reality is that, you know, there's an infinite number of things you could do with your life. So no matter what it is you do, it's always going to be an inferior thing because there's always something better you could do. And it goes back to the principle that, we're all infinitely valuable and we're all infinitely important because we all exist once and there's only one of us and there'll never be another version of us as an individual. But the thing is, if everything's important and you can't prioritize, then the reality is nothing is important. And that's kind of like a despair, an existential despair that I see people running into where like they can't prioritize, so everything is important, but then because they can't prioritize and everything's important, they get option overlord, and then nothing is important because ultimately their desire to prioritize everything backlashes and fails them. And this is the big thing that I really strongly believe is that if you want people to really believe in you and understand what it is you're going for, you actually kind of have to force them to have limitations. And those limitations are determined by your ability to make it clear to them that you're not going to put up with bullshit. So anyway, I've had a lot of experiences that have been exceptionally negative as of late, and it's taken a psychological toll on me. And the way I'm dealing with it is kind of by fighting through the depression by working. I used to get depressed and I would shut down and stop working, and I don't think that's a productive way of doing it because it just makes you less attractive, which makes you more depressed. So the best thing to do when you feel like shit is to kind of suck it up and keep working. That being said, I'm going to spend the next week in Tahoe. So I'm going to try and edit some videos today and post them, but I'm going to try and spend a week in Tahoe away from my computer, away from social media, just painting and drawing. I'm not bringing any hobby supplies with me. I will bring my guitar and my sheet music with me. I will bring the notes from my book with me, and then I'm going to bring a bunch of paints and graphic design supplies and equipment, and I'm going to just load it all up into the car and spend, the better part of 5, maybe 6 days in Tahoe just, you know, doing art. But besides that, I'm going to stay away from the computer and I'm going to just stay as productive and centrally focused as I can. I have to pay some bills today. I'm going to do that. And then as soon as I'm done paying those bills, um, I get to just offline for a week. And hopefully that just makes things better. Um, Hopefully I get some shit done. I think I am going to because I'm kind of in the headspace to do it. I got a call to make at 6 a.m. or not 6 a.m. at 12 a.m. It's 6 a.m. now, so I want to sleep for at least 5 hours, wake up, make my phone call, do a little bit more work, sleep a little bit more, and then I'm going to leave Sunday early afternoon to go north. And I'll be going against traffic, which means I will not have to fight the traffic. I'll just flow past it, which is really awesome. And hopefully I get some stuff done. I think I will. I think I will. I'm in the headspace to get a bunch of shit done. I'm just you know really kind of unhappy right now, but you know that doesn't fucking matter. My happiness doesn't really matter. How I feel doesn't really matter. What matters is just getting my shit done. So I'm going to do that. All right. I'm Keenan Fry. This is the Acid Drip, and take care.